The standings don't lie. The box scores don't either. I'm Pete Dwyer. This is the division line from the Baseball Nerd. We're cutting through the noise to tell you exactly where the American League West division stands and where it's going. 4 games into the season and we've already got our first statement series. The Texas Rangers just took 2 of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies on the road, including a dominant 8-3 finale on Sunday that showed exactly what this lineup can do when it clicks. Nathan Eovaldi got roughed up in the opener, but Mackenzie Gore bounced back with authority in Game 3. The Rangers are sitting alone in first place after Week 1, and that's not an accident. Texas leads the AL West at 2-1 after taking that series from Philadelphia. Half a game back, we've got a 3-way tie between the Angels, Astros, and Mariners, all sitting at 2-2. The Athletics are already in the basement at 0-3 after getting swept in Toronto. Here's what matters in late March. The Rangers went on the road against a quality opponent and got the job done. Houston split with the Angels at home, which tells us both teams have work to do. Seattle split with Cleveland, and there's nothing earth-shattering there. Let's talk about what we learned from this Rangers team in Philadelphia. Game 1 was ugly. Nathan Eovaldi gave up 5 runs, and the offense managed just 3 hits against Christopher Sanchez. But good teams respond, and that's exactly what happened in Games 2 and 3. Saturday's 10-inning win showed us this bullpen depth. There is none. Robert Garcia got in trouble after getting 2 outs in the 9th, and Chris Martin had to come in and clean it up. Martin eventually got the win, with Tyler Alexander locking down the save, but only after some heroics by Andrew McCutchen. Sunday was the real statement, though. Mackenzie Gore threw strikes. He attacked the zone, and the offense exploded for 8 runs. Gore settling in as the number 3 starter behind Eovaldi and DeGrom changes everything for this rotation. The Phillies won 95 games last year. Taking 2 of 3 from them in their own building, that's not a small thing. The Rangers lineup proved it can manufacture runs. Houston and Seattle can talk about their improvements all they want. Texas showed they did make a change in their offense strategy. The road trip continues in Baltimore this week, and if the Rangers can take 2 or 3 from the Orioles, we're looking at a team that might run away with this division before summer even starts. Houston's week tells you everything about where this franchise stands right now. They got shut out at home by the Angels on opening day. They scored 0 runs. Then they gave up 6 more runs to the Angels the next night. Yeah, they came back to win the weekend, including that wild 11-9 slugfest on Saturday. But getting outscored by the Angels at Daikin Park is not a good look. A.J. Bluebaugh bounced back on Saturday to get the win, but this rotation has serious questions beyond their top 2 starters. We love to talk about keys to the game, right? The key number is 13 runs allowed in their first 2 games. That's not championship pitching. Houston needs to figure out their starting depth quickly, or this division race is going to slip away from them. Seattle's weekend with Cleveland was peak Mariners baseball. Lose the opener, win behind George Kirby, lose in extra innings when your closer blows it, and then dominate the finale 8-zip. The key number here, Kirby's 1.5 ERA through his first start. If he's locked in as their ace, Seattle has a puncher's chance in this division. But Andres Munoz blowing the save in Saturday's loss reminds you why this bullpen remains a question mark. The offense showed up when it mattered, scoring 8 runs in Sunday's shutout win. That's encouraging, but the inconsistency is still there. beat Cleveland one day and then lose to them the next. That's going to make for a long summer in this division. The Mike Trout story dominated opening week, and rightfully so. He homered in the opener against Houston and kicked off what he hopes is a healthy 2026 season. The Angels split 4 games with the Astros, which is actually a really solid result on the road. Jose Soriano threw a shutout in the opener, and Ryan Zefferjon got the win in Game 2. This rotation might have more depth than anyone expected. But getting outscored 20-17 across 4 games tells you the pitching still has major holes. The Angels showed they can hang with Houston. Now they need to prove they can do it consistently. Oakland got swept in Toronto to open the season, and it wasn't particularly close. They lost 3 games by a combined 7 runs, but that includes an 11-inning marathon on Saturday. Luis Medina took the loss in that one despite throwing shutout ball. The A's are rebuilding, but they're not rolling over. Justin Sterner and Luis Morales both took their lumps in their first starts. And it's going to be a long season in Oakland, but they are playing competitive baseball. That is something. There were no major injury reports across the AL West after the opening week, and that's a good sign. All 5 teams got through their opening series relatively healthy. The Angels have to be particularly encouraged that Mike Trout came through in his 4 games without any issues. He looked comfortable in the box, on the bases, and in the outfield. Houston's pitching staff stayed healthy despite some rough outings. Seattle's bullpen arms all appeared in multiple games without any red flags. The Rangers' bullpen got heavy usage in that extra inning win over Philadelphia, but everyone bounced back fine. Early season health is crucial, and the AL West is off to a clean start. This week's schedule sets up some intriguing matchups across the division. The Rangers head to Baltimore for 3 games against an Orioles team that has their sights set on the 2026 postseason. This is going to be a real test for Texas. Houston hosts Boston, which should tell us more about both teams. Seattle has the Yankees at home, and that's always a measuring stick series. The Angels travel to Chicago to face the Cubbies in interleague play, and Oakland heads to Atlanta for what could be another tough series. The Rangers-Orioles matchup is the one to watch. If Texas can win that series, they're making an early statement about this division race. That's the division line. Numbers, not feelings, every Monday. You can find full analytics, box scores, and standings at thebaseballnerd.com. Subscribe on Substack for my articles and podcasts, and I'll see you next week.